never gave up on our faith.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, there was a time where you guys felt like you're going to have to move and get out of here, but it sounded like there was nowhere to go.
And the funny part was, she was bringing boxes home every day from work, and I'm like, why should she keep bringing these boxes?
To get ready to move?
To move.
And I was like,
I packed up my closet.
I said, you know, the prayer's already been answered. I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going to tell her that. I'm not going.
Yeah, at one point we just stopped worrying about where we're going to move. And I stopped bringing home boxes from work, and we just kept praying.
Things looked bleak for getting his VA loan approved, and it appeared Larry was going to have to move his family out. Right in the middle of the escrow process to purchase a home they were renting, his dad passed away out of state. But before he did, he said something to Larry.
I was at work one day, and I told my dad, I told him, I said, we got 2 months to be gone now. I said,
To leave this place.
To leave this place. And I said, I don't know where we're going to go. I said, I feel like I'm wasting my money. Applications.
Right.
And he said, well, just keep the faith. He said, the Lord got you. And right away, I was at work on my lunch break, just sitting there. I'm like, in the yard.
Yeah.
And he was like, told my mom, he called her Jean. He said, Jean, let's pray. And they just went to praying right then and there. And
Wait, yeah, he did. He just and your
praying.
mom.
And my mom. And when he got done praying, he was like, it's done. He was like, it's done. I said, well, we're not going to give up. I said, Charles is going to be our man. And we kept looking at Facebook, and I kept showing. I said, look at this testimony right here. Look at what Charles did. I said, 550. I said, this guy's, he's qualified. I said, look. I said, he's going to be the guy. I said, we're going to stick with him, but we're going to stay the course. Exactly.
I'll never forget it, 2 o'clock in the morning, one morning, I sat there in my living room, and I was like, that moment that happened, and everything you had told me and shared with me, we put it together in a letter of explanation for the VA underwriter.
Yes.
And you remember that?
I remember. I told my wife, I said, I'm doing everything he asked me to do.
And I feel like that was the beginning of the turning of the tide. But if I may say, even after that, we had the underwriter asking us a lot of questions and very awkward, pointed questions. And some of it we weren't able to satisfy.
Yes, sir.
And then all of a sudden, boom, we were clear to close.
That's it.
And what's really interesting, I don't care what you believe, but I'm telling you, what's interesting is all of a sudden the tide changed and we were clear to close. And you told me afterwards that your dad had said what he had said.
Yes, sir.
Before he had passed.
Well, definitely God put the right people in our path.
Exactly.
And we are.
I tell everybody about you. I have a brother-in-law, and everybody, they've been turned down. I'm like,
oh wow.
I told my wife, I said, I'm gonna tell him.
Yeah, connect us.
Go see Charles. Charles make it happen.
God has done some wonderful things, and here we are. You own this place, and you deserve it. Marine Corps veteran right here. Pleasure to meet you guys. Thank you for your service, and a little blessing for you. A little blessing. Yeah, we'll definitely stay in contact, and I'll see you on Facebook if not here.
I feel like I'm meeting a celebrity,
All right, I don't care what you believe, but right in the middle of the CalVet VA loan process, we're having all kinds of trouble getting it approved. The underwriter was just asking for a blood sample. Me and my loan partner were like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? And we were working on these conditions, and all of a sudden, hey, we're clear to close. And we didn't even turn in half the stuff they were asking for. Something turned the tide right in the middle of the loan process. I don't care what you believe, but here you just heard the man tell us that there was a point in time in that escrow that his dad prayed and told him, it's done. And that was the time that we all of a sudden miraculously just got clear to close, and the underwriter just didn't ask us anymore for what she was asking us for. Tell me if that isn't something. Anyways, what a blessing. That was one of the all-time greats. If you're thinking about a VA loan, you need to give me a call. You'd be surprised.